Jesus was a very special person. He came to earth a long time ago. Many believe he was sent by God, his Father. He came to show everyone God's great love. He walked among people, teaching them wonderful things. He spoke about kindness, forgiveness, and hope. His words were like a gentle rain on dry land. He wanted people to know how much God cared for them. His life was a message of love and light to a world that often felt dark and confusing. He brought a new way of seeing God, not as distant but as a loving Father. Miracles are truly amazing things that happen. They are events that go beyond what we normally see or understand. Think of them as special signs from God. Jesus performed many of these miracles during his time on earth. These were not magic tricks. They were real acts of power and kindness. He healed people who were sick. He helped those who were in trouble. He even showed power over nature. Each miracle was like a window, letting people see God's goodness and strength shining through Jesus. These acts showed that God was actively involved in the lives of his people. Why did Jesus perform these miracles? He did them for many reasons. First, he had a big heart full of compassion. He saw people suffering and he wanted to help them. His miracles brought comfort and healing. Second, his miracles showed that he truly was from God. They were like proof of his divine connection. They helped people to believe in him and his message. Third, each miracle also taught an important lesson. They taught about faith, about God's power, and about how we should live our lives. They were not just displays of power, but teaching moments filled with deep meaning. The stories of Jesus' miracles still inspire us today. They fill our hearts with hope. They remind us that God is powerful and loving. When we read about them, we learn about the importance of faith. Faith is like trusting that God can do wonderful things, even when situations seem impossible. These stories encourage us to believe in new beginnings. They tell us that no problem is too big for God. They show us that even in our darkest moments, there is a light waiting to shine. Jesus' miracles are a timeless source of comfort and strength for many people around the world. Once, Jesus traveled to a village near a place called Gaza. In this village, some people were deeply troubled. They were tormented by unseen spirits. These spirits made their lives very hard. The people were in pain and confusion. They could not find peace. Their families were worried and scared. Imagine how difficult it must have been for them, living in such distress. When Jesus arrived, his presence brought a sense of anticipation. He saw their suffering and he cared deeply about what they were going through. His heart moved with compassion for their plight. Jesus showed his incredible power over these troubling spirits. He spoke to them with authority. The spirits knew who he was and had to obey his commands. Jesus permitted the spirits to leave the people and go into a herd of pigs nearby. The pigs then rushed down a hill into a lake and were gone. Instantly, the people who had been tormented became calm. They were free from their suffering. Peace returned to their minds and their village. This miracle showed everyone that Jesus had power over darkness and could bring healing and wholeness to those who were broken. On another occasion, Jesus was walking with his friends. He saw a fig tree. He went to it looking for fruit because he was hungry. But the fig tree had no figs, only leaves. Jesus then said to the tree that it would never bear fruit again. This might seem like a strange thing for Jesus to do. However, this was not just about a tree. It was a living lesson for his followers and for us. He wanted to teach something very important about our lives and our faith. It was a symbolic act with a deeper spiritual meaning that he intended for his disciples to understand. The very next day, as they passed by, his friends saw the fig tree. It had withered from its roots, just as Jesus had said. This was a powerful sign. It served as a reminder. It reminds us that our lives should be fruitful. This means our lives should be full of good things like faith, love, and good actions. We are not meant to be like an empty tree with only leaves. Jesus wants us to live lives that show our faith in real ways. This miracle encourages us to be genuine and to produce the good fruit of a life lived for God, not just an outward appearance of belief. Jesus had a very dear friend named Lazarus. One day Lazarus became very sick. His sisters Mary and Martha were very worried. They sent a message to Jesus hoping he would come quickly and heal Lazarus. But Lazarus' illness was severe, and before Jesus arrived, Lazarus died. His sisters were heartbroken. Their home was filled with sadness and mourning. They loved their brother so much, and his death left a deep emptiness in their hearts. They placed Lazarus in a tomb, a common burial practice of that time, and their hope seemed to fade with each passing moment. Jesus finally arrived in their village, Bethany, 4 days after Lazarus had been buried. Many people thought it was too late. How could anything be done now? Martha met Jesus and expressed her sadness, saying that if he had been there, her brother would not have died. Jesus comforted her with words of hope and life. He went to the tomb where Lazarus was laid. He saw the sorrow of Mary and Martha and their friends. Jesus himself was deeply moved and even wept, sharing in their grief. This showed his profound humanity and his empathy for the pain of human loss. Then, Jesus did something astonishing. He asked for the large stone covering the entrance of the tomb to be rolled away. Martha was hesitant, worried about what they might find after 4 days, but Jesus, full of divine authority, looked towards the tomb. He then called out in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" And to the amazement of everyone watching, Lazarus walked out of the tomb. He was alive and well, still wrapped in the burial cloths. This incredible miracle showed that Jesus had power even over death itself. It was a clear sign that nothing could limit his divine authority. Another truly special event was the Transfiguration. Jesus took 3 of his closest friends, Peter, James, and John, up a high mountain to pray. While he was praying, something extraordinary happened. His appearance suddenly transformed. His face began to shine as bright as the sun. His clothes became dazzling white, whiter than anyone on earth could make them. It was a breathtaking sight. This was a glimpse of Jesus' divine glory, revealing his true nature. 2 important figures from the past, Moses and Elijah, appeared beside him, talking with him, representing the law and the prophets bearing witness to him. Section 4. The Greatest Victory, Hope Renewed. After Jesus had performed so many wonderful miracles and taught so many people, a very sad thing happened. He was arrested and crucified. He died on a cross. His followers were devastated. Their hearts were broken. They had believed he was the one who would save them in a different way. Now, he was gone. It seemed like all their hopes had died with him. This was a time of great darkness and fear for them. They hid away, confused and scared, not knowing what the future would hold for them. The promise he embodied seemed to have vanished, but the story did not end there. On the 3rd day after Jesus died, some women who were his followers went to visit his tomb. They went early in the morning, carrying spices to anoint his body. When they arrived, they found something incredible. The heavy stone that had sealed the tomb was rolled away. They looked inside, and the tomb was empty. Jesus' body was not there. An angel appeared to them and gave them amazing news. The angel said, "Do not be afraid. He is not here. He has risen, just as he said." This news was almost too wonderful to believe. Later, Jesus himself appeared to his followers. He showed himself to Mary Magdalene first, and then to his other disciples. He showed them his hands and his side where he had been wounded. They could see that it was truly him, alive again. He had overcome death. This was the greatest miracle of all. It proved that everything Jesus had said and done was true. His resurrection turned their deep sorrow into incredible joy and gave them a new, unshakable faith. It was the ultimate victory over sin and death, changing everything for them and for all who would believe. These miracles of Jesus, from freeing tormented villagers to his own resurrection, are more than just old stories. They are powerful messages of hope. They teach us about the incredible power of faith. They show us that new beginnings are always possible, no matter how difficult our situation may seem. Jesus' life, death, and resurrection demonstrate that God's love is stronger than anything, even death. They remind us that there is always light, even in the deepest darkness. Nothing is impossible with God, and through Jesus we can find hope, healing, and the promise of a brand new start.